Well, here we are. We made it for the Generational Experience episode 2 with minor technical difficulties. We still may have some audio here, but welcome whoever
Yeah.
may be watching, no matter where they're at. We now have, I know I'm still going to call you Rodney, even though you have Pierre down here. I don't know. I can't call you that. Bill, myself, Carl Condello, here in California. And it's going to be like 100 degrees, 104,
We're
106 by
East
the end of
Coast,
the week.
West Coast right now.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm going to be broiled by the end of the week, so I'm not looking forward to that.
You're broiling, we're drowning.
I know. And DJ Daryl, who's with us for our second one. And if anybody who watched our first one, we actually explained how this all came about. I think that was mentioned, that my conversation with Rodney about who was with on my TV show way back in 1984 called California East Dance Party. He was part of the New City Breakers. And now Daryl Seidman, who is actually part of the whole California East corporation, whatever you would call it back then. But I know we could actually have some clips there. But then we all know Bill, we all know Rodney. And so Daryl, you're right now muted. So if you could talk and just introduce yourself and how you came about there. And actually, you're our mentor putting this whole together. Without you, we wouldn't know about StreamYard or whatever. So first of all, thank you.
Great.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Five step, man.
Definitely a learning curve here with all the great technology, but I'm glad you're actively embracing it. And just like last week's show, Rod, you just got to do it, roll with it. It's going to get better each and every time.
Most definitely.
So I guess back in the day, it started with me is I was, my story goes back to my DJ story. So just bear with me a moment. So in 7th grade, we had a student council meeting. Somebody was doing decorations. Somebody was doing food. Someone was helping out. And they said, we need music for it. So these are a bunch of 7th graders, a bunch of, say, 11, 12-year-olds trying to figure out what to do for a sweetheart dance. They said, what are we going to do about music? And everybody looked at each other and they're like, who's going to do music? So I'm like, I raised my hand and I said, I'll come up with the music. I'll be the DJ for the night. So at the age of 13, the only thing I knew is my father, through a business colleague of his, had gotten a jukebox. We had a jukebox in our basement with all the latest disco dance hits on it, from Donna Summer to Village People, you name it. So I went home that day and I talked to my mom first, who talked my dad into it to open up the jukebox, take out about a dozen or so 45s, put them in a box, bring them to the dance. And if you remember the old systems that they used to have at the schools where it looked like an oven. It pulled out of the wall, had a 45 player on it. You put your 45s in it, you lift up the arm and just automatically play them. So my first DJ.
Not to cut you off, but
Sure.
Could you tell everybody what the 45 is? Because, younger generation.
That's the record with the big hole in it, right? You need the little adapter to put in it.
Little record with big hole.
The little record with the big hole, yeah.
And the 33 was the big record with the little hole.
You got it. Or the 78 to even confuse people even more with that
There you
one.
go.
So that's the old one with the needle that just dropped onto the record. But anyway, so I DJ'd my first dance. It was a sweetheart dance at Marlton Middle School, and I totally got bitten by the music bug. I just grabbed the microphone, started doing the MC and DJ work there, and parlayed that into a part-time job because they had other dances during the course of the year. It was always a benefit for student council. So, did a couple summer parties, things like that. And then I did that for a couple years. And I think at the age of 16, I heard about these teen dances that they were having at like hotels. So I was very excited about that. And I attended, I guess, one of Dale's first events was at a hotel, I think called the Halloran.
In Pensauken.
In Pensauken, correct.
On 130.
So I went to the Halloran and, talked to the DJs there, told them I was a DJ as well. Said, let me come up on stage and, I would hang out with them. I wasn't DJing at California East yet, but, got to hang out with the DJs. DJ Mons, I guess, was the first DJ that I had met there. And, it was kind of like, because I was up on the stage, as part of the DJ crew, they're like, hey, can you operate the lights? So I'm like, sure. So I would operate the strobe lights and the police beacons and all these things, on there. So I did that probably for a couple years until Dale actually moved into his nightclub on Hollywood Avenue there. What a great name. The California East Nightclub on Hollywood Avenue in Cherry Hill.
Doesn't get better than that.
Stations, they could only do it, Saturday nights, was it, Carl?
Friday nights.
Friday nights due to the zoning law.
6:30 to midnight. 6:30 to midnight. Interesting.
Yeah.
Daryl, can you pull up the YouTube? Just have it ready, like maybe your segment when you're chewing gum, and then maybe Rodney's stop with the New City Breakers, and maybe just the opening of it, just the people who don't have the clue. I know we're talking about to give them an idea. This was like 3 or 4 years after they were already established, and actually, you called it a nightclub. It was a big warehouse, 20,000 square feet. I remember Cal Rudman saying, "Oh my God, 20,000 square feet! Oh my God!" But they packed as like that one Friday after New Year's in '84. It was 1,650 people at $4 a head, and thank God there was no, because everybody was still smoking in there. There was no, non-smoking in clubs, and it was a heck of an experience back then, and it was wonderful. I met Dale as a photographer, and then he realized I was doing my TV show of the Coliseum, my pilot, and he came and watched me the year previous, and we discussed if he was able to put a show on for his show, and we put 2 and 2, 3 and 3, and 4 and 4 together. Went out and got a sponsor for it. 7 Up was an interesting story. And WPST Radio. We went to every radio station in the Philadelphia market if they would want to trade. They all said no, and I figured, let's try that last door you open, and they liked the idea. They wanted some, and that's how we were able to get Cal Rudman. We were able to get Mark Shepard and Tom Cunningham to introduce Pretty Poison. So, So, Daryl, do you have anything that queued up that we could? First of all,
what
got
segment do you
something
want
queued up now?
Let's do the one.
I've got the California East queued up, the one we talked about a little while ago.
Yeah, so play Bill. Okay, this is with Rodney. How I never really met Rodney that day. There was so much going on behind the scenes, and so
let me say something real quick. For everybody out there, they keep calling me Rodney. You guys out there know me as Oz of the New City Breakers. So that's who they're calling Rodney, so that we don't get nothing mixed up with all my fans out there.
Play it, Bill.
And what segment did you want me to queue up, Carl? What was the episode?
If it would be like you showing yourself chewing the gum, I don't know. I know you found it before. I don't know where it's at now. Or if Bill's having problem pulling up the New City Breakers, I know it's on my page, like the 8th, if it's 4 on a row. I think it's the second on the 8th or 9th row for New City Breakers.
Well, I would like to tell everybody a little bit more about my group.
Go ahead. We could even play this while you're talking about it.
Okay, cool. So as we got discovered and everything, everybody tried to ask me a question. Where did I get the New City Breakers from? It started with me watching The Wizard of Oz. And as I was watching The Wizard of Oz, I took the name Oz. And at first I wanted to call the group the new group. Then I wanted to call it the Wizard of Oz Breaking Squad, but the name was too long. And then they told me I would get sued if I did that. So I just kept Oz.
Well, now we're showing the first premiere, and Rodney, you're on the left as a 14-year-old.
I'm in the gray sweatsuit with the burgundy stripe. There I go.
And you must have been on top of the world back then, man. You're on TV. You're at this club. Well, and it's all going great, right?
Being a child dance star, I really didn't. It didn't really gravitate. It really didn't strike home with me that I'm really going to be famous. All I just wanted to do was perform.
And you did. And Daryl, where were you during this performance? Because I know when Pretty Poison was there, you were on the edge of the stage, and actually Jane almost hit you with one of her high heels marching across the stage. But where were you when they were doing this?
Yeah, so they were getting ready for the performance. So, so one of the interesting things about it is because, as I said, I was hanging out with the DJs and doing the nightclub lighting. Dale had tapped me and he said, "Hey, we need lighting for the TV show because the lighting that they had when they turned on the lights after the nightclub, as everybody was leaving, was all fluorescent tubes. And as you know, Carl, fluorescent tubes glow green on TV programs.
Yeah, we need the Mercury. And Montefiore Electric put in all electric, all those TV lighting for us, which was amazing.
Yeah, so I was part of the, make sure the lighting was, was helpful with that.
There you go, Roz.
I secured the lighting.
There you go, Roz. Flip it around. There he is.
You're about to call me. He said Rodney and Oz at the same time. He called me Roz.
I just have to pull back a little bit. If anybody who's really watching, there is so much going on behind the scenes, business, whatever, with an investor, and I'm trying to and luckily my friend who was my ex-wife at the time, Kathy, who worked at Channel 3, she was the floor manager, and I actually have to thank her so much for getting this started. But the one thing they forgot to do, and if you see in this one clip, the sign,
the helicopter,
the banner is just laying there. They forgot to elevate it.
They never elevated that banner
until the second time. The second time when you see the subsequent shows, when we actually shot on a Friday night, it was so. I hope, I'm still trying to raise money to make a movie out of all of that and show all the things that were going on behind the scenes. Because when we talked about the other day about the business end, boy, was I understanding about the business end behind the scenes. But all in all, to look back on, it was an incredible time. The amount of music, the fun we had, look at it, and it's amazing. Daryl, do you have your spot with your chewing gum?
It's actually, I'm running the spot right now. So
okay.
I took over the screen.
And good old Dale. So we know he's back from California, back from exile. It would have been nice to know.
Crab walk.
There you go. Crab. There you go.
You call that the crab?
Yeah, he called it the crab walk. People called it the spider, but it was actually a crab walk.
Well, yeah, it's a shame I didn't meet you guys back then. I did meet Pretty Poison back then, but
Pretty Poison happened to perform after this performance.
Right.
All over. Where are you from?
Yeah. I'm from Camden.
What's your name?
Ricky.
Ricky. Okay. Where are you from?
Bronx, New York, Sax.
Okay, that just goes to show you.
Now you still keep in touch
We
with
got
these
people
guys?
coming down from New York every Friday night here, don't we? And where are you from?
Brownsville, New York.
There you go.
New York again. Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
All right, what's your name?
Being that I'm in Jersey and everything,
Reds, we got Reds.
I represent
You can see him here every Friday night, as well as a lot of other breakers
but
here.
a lot of the guys I
Do you like the new
represent.
breakdance
Turn down
we
the
made
sound,
for
Bill.
everybody?
Turn down the sound so we can. There you go. Okay, go ahead, Pierre.
I mean, everybody that I represent everybody from Camden, Cherry Hill, Pennsauken, Palmyra. I represent every place. I never try to say that, okay, I'm one individual from one particular area, because I met people from so many different places. I basically created a new city, and that's where the new City Breakers came from. And everybody really gravitated to that, and everybody called me Oz. And to answer your question, at first, since I haven't been in New Jersey since 1984, when that video was found by my daughter, and I got to talk to you, Carl, my daughter posted that video and it went viral. And next thing I know, people was like, oh my God, that's Oz. Where's he at? Where's he at? And everybody was asking these questions, where he's at. So I said, I'm in Cherry Hill, Maple Shade. Next thing I know, I started getting all these calls and everything, people trying to find me, putting the numbers up and everything. And I've been developing relationships now that everybody's older. And, instead of them trying to break dance, they might break something. So, but I have somebody on here that's constantly trying to get me to break dance. And I don't want to say, who Daryl is, but, we're going to keep that a secret to my masses. But it was somebody that's right here. I don't want to say who they're. Daryl. I don't want to say his name.
So do you ever, Oz, I'll call
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Do you ever have the urge to get out there, grab your piece of cardboard or your piece of linoleum and do it?
Okay. Now I'm gonna answer that question. Certain people ask me, do I still breakdance? And I say no. But technically, I still do.
Technically.
Yeah, I call it technically.
Okay. Does that mean you do it inside your head? Or...
I do it inside my head. If there's a certain song and I'm in my apartment, I'll start doing some things, not breakdancing, spinning on the floor, but popping and stuff like that.
Okay.
Somebody keeps asking me, do I still breakdance, and could I breakdance when I'm with that certain person when they're DJing and stuff? I don't want to say Daryl's name. So, I accidentally said Daryl's name.
I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this, Oz. I do a little popping and locking myself. It's just unintentional.
Don't worry, it's not the age, it's the mileage.
Yeah, you're right about that. Both of them are getting kind of high.
Yeah, but for everybody that oh my God, there's
Daryl.
There's Daryl.
There's something.
There's
Chewing
Daryl.
his gum.
He's
kind of
chewing
gum
his
was
gum
it,
with them shades on. Let me tell you guys something, and this is a story that I've only told twice. But for everybody out there listening, we got signed to perform at the California East. And this is my interactions with Daryl. We were going in, and I bumped into somebody, and I looked, and it was somebody in there with these dark shades on, but it was two people. Now, I had just seen the movie Terminator when he walked into the club with the glasses on and started killing everybody. So I tapped my friend. I'm like, yo, you see this guy with glasses? It's dark as heck in here. I said, what is he up to? So we just keep our eye on him because he ain't right. I don't know. He's like a mystery man.
I'll be back.
Had to have a little mystery, had to keep with the shades and that blue satin jacket. That was my fantasy DJs, which was the name of my company at the time. So I got a little advertising for my DJ company in that blue satin jacket. So definitely enjoyed, was that show 2, segment 2, Carl. So you can check that on the links through our YouTube channel.
Well,
Yeah, if I may say something real quick to Daryl, if you could just queue up for the end of the show for an homage to me with my name up there. It's California East Dance Party closing credits with, you see, Dale. I think, if you could just cue that up for the end of the night,
yeah,
I'd appreciate
I certainly
that.
will.
Go ahead, guys.
I really didn't want to do anything like this about me. This is about our guests. So, Daryl, what actually got you into music?
What got me into music is the classic thing that I hear from a lot of people. It's either your parents' record collection or an older or brother or sister's record collection. And my dad gave me a box of 45s, and they were all his 45s from the 50s. So it was a lot of doo-wop, a lot of tracks that Elvis, the Chords, just a lot of music in that genre. So my first genre was 50s music. And then I think in the early 70s, I saw American Graffiti and
wow.
Jack, which I did have the opportunity to meet later in life in the movie American Graffiti. And, Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock. What a great song from that movie. So I had this rock and roll, I guess, initial experience. And then, with my parents, with this jukebox, with all the 70s disco and the disco parties we used to have in my parents' basement, that's really where I got hooked on dance music. So I went from like rock and roll right into the disco, and then from disco I got into the new wave music. You know, the Police and Duran Duran and the
The
Cure
Ramones.
and Simple Minds, and
The
then
Ramones.
some not really the Ramones on the rock and roll side, maybe more on the Clash. But you know, then I got involved with this whole new wave thing, and you know, but I always say as a DJ, you have to be a lover of all genres because
Right.
you know, over the gigs that I've DJ'd over the years, you know, I've done a lot of theme parties. So like, I want ragtime music from the 20s and 30s. I'm like, all right, I'll dig it out for you. You know, we're having a 40s, a 50s, a 60s, a 70s party, an 80s party. You guys saw me at Radwood. So that's another opportunity where we had the ability to do some really fun things. So we're always
And
looking
that's the cool thing.
to,
That's
you know, music,
this is-
right? Music creates the experience.
right.
Yeah.
Here's where I can
I have to
interject
give a
on
little-
that part of things is where this is what this podcast really, at least for me, started out to be, is the universality of music throughout every age, throughout every generation, no matter if it was from the very beginning, and I'm sure it'll be from all the way to the very end. People
Well, yeah, a little
have a
bit of-
song that really brings them into their best feeling or best memory. Everybody's parents has a song that they say, "Oh, that's our song." You know,
I have a little backstory about the guests that how I got them on California East. The Hooters were the biggest ones back at the time, and they were being really good. And everybody would say try to get them, and so I had their manager on the phone, and actually I talked. There he is. Who was that? That was Wolfman, right?
Yeah, that was Wolfman Jack.
That's Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
That's the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
this is Wolfman Jack.
There you go. Just a
There
real
you
quick
go.
story about the Wolfman.
go ahead.
A good friend of mine built radio stations for a living, and his claim to fame was he did a lot. He traveled the country. He drove a 58 Imperial with a big whip antenna, and he, as I said, just built radio stations around the country. A lot of times for churches and different organizations throughout the world. And he was just a whiz at taking equipment and just putting it together and building really these low-cost radio stations. So at one point, he got invited to help with a transmitter that wasn't working. And one of the big manufacturers is the RCA Victor Corporation, or RCA. They built this transmitter and they shipped it to right over the border from Del Rio, Texas, which is a radio station. As you know, radio stations in Mexico start with the letter X. In the United States, it starts with the letter W. So Wolfman Jack's original station was a station called XERF.
And K out here.
So yeah, exactly. So so he had the opportunity to go down to this radio station and right over the border in Mexico, and they couldn't get the transmitter up to full power. And because he was such a whiz with these broadcast transmitters, he actually got this. He worked on it for about a week and got this transmitter that RCA built, could never get up to full power. He got it up to full power. And at night, it covered 2/3 of the world with the radio station signal.
Okay, full power. Now, was that we know with Clear Channel? I mean, with it's 50,000 watts Clear Channel, like ABC out of New York and some other ones. But I know in Mexico, were they able to do 100,000 watts?
Yes, he got up to 100,000, and 100,000 watts at night covered 2/3 of the world. Amazing story. So he knew Wolfman Jack from that experience. And when Wolfman Jack was on the road doing his oldies tours, he actually, if you remember the theater at Garden State Park in Cherry Hill, they used to have music venues there, music concerts. And Wolfman came in one of his tours, and Mike said, let's go see him. So this picture is actually from Mike is no longer with us. He's in that great radio station in heaven, but this is one of the people that he introduced me to. And the Wolfman and I became instant friends. And
What year was this?
That had to be 1980, late 80s, probably like 88, 89.
Aren't you glad you accepted that job at 13 years old as a school DJ and got you to this?
Exactly. Got to meet some of my idols here because, as I said, when I saw American Graffiti, I'm like, I love the mystique of being a DJ on a radio station. So, and when you think of radio DJs, he's one of the legends you think about.
Well, Bill, both of us, I'm 69. Bill, you said you're 62, 63. So obviously we grew up with the greatest music, but with the greatest radio stations. I would used to listen to WABC out of New York with Cousin Brucey and all those guys, because we had Wibbage and
We had WIBG, same as down here.
IBJ, right? With,
HAT, WDAS.
well, yeah, DAS,
Right.
and so to be a DJ in the in the rec and high lit in back then, that was like the ultimate of jobs.
The heater with the heater.
Oh yeah, and it's a shame he just passed last year, but yeah, and I met him back in the day. But those days, you don't have terrestrial radio; you have
Wow.
XM. All this other
Okay,
stuff.
I would like to ask a guy, hey, Bill,
Yeah.
what about the sounds of Philadelphia?
Ooh,
Yeah, listen, that was something that, I mean, they were right up the street from where I lived. They were right up on Broad Street. So we had a lot of people, as actually some people in my family that played studio music for them. My uncle's Mike Jordan, he's a bass player for them. My uncle Marvin and his band. Listen, I grew up in a family full of bands, you know, so there was plenty of that going on.
So
And
how close were you with Gamble and Huff?
Gamble and Huff wasn't easy to get close to, unless you were a girl. Okay. But I was a kid for first out. You know, I mean, these were grown guys. So I was watching these grown-ups do their thing, you know, and I would see them in passing, but I wasn't included in what was going on. My family members, on the other hand, were involved with them, and we would see them. They would do concerts up at the rec center, you know, Francisville Rec Center. So it was an exciting time, but you know, for me, it was a party. There was always great music playing. You know.
Wow. And from that got you into liking music. So,
yeah.
So
I could
what
barely
got you
avoid
into
it.
music?
Me?
Yes.
Well, as I said, my family was full of musicians. My mom was a singer. My dad he was a singer. He played piano and guitar. All my uncles, I think my dad started playing an instrument so he could meet my mom, you know. Okay. So they would be around at the Jordan's house all the time. He's on the piano. And it's funny when Daryl mentioned some, what is it? That specific old music. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Doo-wop.
Like, no. Way before that.
Oh, ragtime.
swing.
Swing.
Ragtime.
Yeah.
My dad played ragtime. So one of the first songs I learned to play on the piano was ragtime. On the other side of things, my granddad, he played guitar, he sang. And his thing was each little kid that would come along, he would give them an instrument. Okay, here, take this. He gave me a clarinet. He says, can you make a sound with it? So I made a sound. Right? Okay, great. If you can make a sound with it, you're going to get lessons. Well, I played the clarinet for about a week. Every time I played it, it tickled my nose. So I would play it and I would sneeze. I play it and I would sneeze. So we have to get a different instrument. So they put me on the trumpet. And to this day, I still have that same trumpet and I still play that same trumpet. But in addition to that, I started singing with those guys, you know, and they went on the USO tour. They did, you know, they did all kinds of stuff all over the place, playing in Atlantic City, playing in New York. And my personal experience was marching in a parade with my trumpet and stuff like that.
That's
So
awesome.
there was a lot of involvement, but it was from the other side. I wasn't, you know, I was producing it. I'll say it that way. It was coming out of me, and it was a heck of a fun way to express yourself.
Well, Bill, as we talked last night, you're going to have to express some of that music we talked about last night.
Yes.
You wanna hear
We wanna hear
Yes.
some of your original material. We want to be doing that with
Yeah,
you.
We're going to have that on the podcast coming up soon.
right.
But see, the one good thing about the generational experience and all of you guys, there's music involved in everybody's life here.
That's right.
And how music influenced all of you guys, you know, including myself.
Music and family. I love, just like you
Oh.
coming from a musical family, Bill. And I think, we really just take a moment out to,
Well, my sister,
thank our heritage. I mean, thank
my sister, I got a
That's
sister.
it.
My sister Virginia, but everybody calls her Booby. She was the backup singer for a group called oh geez,
Come on, cough it up.
the Ebonies.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was trying to do it. It was the Ebonies, and the thing is about the Ebonies, they had some major hits just because of you. Oh my God.
Just to let everybody know,
I'm
I
serious.
check all the feeds. We're live everywhere, so
Yes.
we're out there.
Yeah, if anybody has any comments, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can comment. We can also see your comments in our comment stream here in the studio. If you have a question or a special memory, we'd love to hear from you. And I just want to recognize family. I mean, you, as I said, Bill, your family, musically inclined, definitely. And
Everybody
my father was
played
not
something.
a musician, but he wasn't an announcer. Back in the day in Cherry Hill, there was a indoor ice hockey arena before the Flyers came to Philadelphia, and my father started out as an ice hockey announcer. And did some
Jersey
DJing
Devils.
himself as well. So I like to say I got his voice, his DJ voice,
All right.
which has carried me. And Carl, I just want to relate another story from you. Probably about, 10 years ago, I reached out to Carl. I said, Carl, it's happening again. He said, what do you mean? I said, teen dance party, teen nightclub. Actually, my son Darian was a DJ for the indoor water park, which was called Sahara Sam's in
Sahara
Berlin,
Sam's.
Sahara Sam's, yeah. I said, Carl, can you do some photography for me? Can you come out and take some pictures? And Carl is kind of like deja vu for you, huh?
You should have told me. I could have had them. Actually, they're on my Facebook page. If you want to check that out, they're in an album. If you want to do that, so if I was able to share everything with you, we could. But if you want to show any of those, because actually I'm going scrolling down. Yeah, they're still up there.
And I like to say one more thing. A lot of you guys don't know, and a lot of you fans out there don't know. I had got adopted, and I was embraced and loved, and I love this family, and I keep them in my heart. That's Daryl's family. So I want everybody to know that I got adopted by his family.
It was a quick adoption, yes.
I'm probably the one that hasn't talked about family yet, but I grew up obviously Italian. And what do you think was playing Sinatra and all that stuff? And actually, my grandparents would play the Italian music from Italy, so I'd always have an ear to the really great. So actually, today on my way home from my photography job, I stopped at this local place. The owner's from Sicily, and they have all the old standards and everything, which is great. And so there was always music being played. I wish, like I mentioned on Saturday, that I kept playing the guitar because I had lessons, but I didn't have any patience. I didn't sound like the Beatles, so I gave it up. Biggest regret I ever had, to at least be able to still strum and play and round. So, but yeah, it's I have to bring it up to almost a spiritual level. There's that famous physicist, Michio Kaku, who came up with string theory. Biggest thing he said, through the universe, it's vibration. And that's why human beings, no matter where they are, will have some form of music. No matter where they're at on the planet, have some form of music.
Think about it, Carl. Creation was music.
Exactly.
From the very beginning. And even in the Bible of Genesis.
Right.
That's right.
So yeah, music is and that's why when we hear something from our past, it immediately brings us back to the past. That's our little mental time machine. Where were you when you heard this? Who were you with? Blah, blah, blah. And actually now through Facebook Reels, I'm able to actually put these little vignettes of all the pictures that I've taken to some music that I've loved back in the past. So thank God for the new technology. I've been able to do this.
There you go.
I say to that music for everybody It brings emotion. It makes you happy, sad. It makes you reminisce. Maybe a song will make you make you think about somebody that's no longer here. Music is the essence of everything. And you guys, as we sit here and talk more about this, this is what brings everybody together. And this is why I love you guys. And I have you guys with me on this journey as we're promoting this generational experience.
Yeah, Daryl, I wish I had the technology. If you go on my Facebook page, go into photos and go down the albums, all those pictures from club, from that club are available if you want to post something.
Okay.
And you with your son, I always like the one with all the foam coming down, and that's 12 years ago now. That was in 2011.
12
But
years.
we're at about like 10 minutes to go. So not to wrap it up, but just to say, hey, with the future for this podcast, I know Daryl was excited about just us forming this, and I'm glad I thought of you because I know you get us on the right path. But and just talking to Bill last night about his original music, and I can't wait to start hearing it.
So we're going to get him to play.
Yes.
Then we don't have to run this little ticker down here saying that we don't own the rights to the music.
Yeah, when it's your original, yes, it's the man.
Play some of that.
You got it.
I would like to say some things. I'd like to say special shout outs to all the people that are following us. I want to say I thank you and I love you all. You continue to come on, show your love, share your likes, and please subscribe to us. And I promise you, this is only the beginning. We've only just begun. So follow us on this journey.
And may I add on to that by saying,
Yes.
Let us know in the comments what you'd like to hear us talk about. We're going to attempt to feature those things that you guys want to hear. We're going to offer what we have. We're going to offer what you ask. And hopefully we can form a big family of many generations that has a lot of fun talking about the stuff we enjoy.
Yeah. Daryl, I know you're going to be a frequent guest every once in a while. You're not going to be with us all the time. But what do you envision, for yourself and us down the road and, for the current future, the immediate future?
Yeah, just like the name says, it's a generational experience. I would like to see, as I said, more generations being integrated into this and coming up.
That's
with
our
topics
intent.
and getting those points of view on, what's going on, what their feelings are about them, because that's really what it's about. It's really bringing up the next generation and letting them have a voice, as well as using our season's experience to interject a point of view as well. So I love the concept and I love the opportunity to, continue to work with the team and see about the opportunities to, as I said, have some interesting guests.
How about your sons? How about your son? There you go.
Yep.
I just said, how about your son? And that was your son.
There you go. There's DJ D-Side as he goes by.
Now, do you have anything of the one of the foam coming down?
Yep. I'll bring that one up as well.
Yeah, there's some of my experience of my pictures, and it's like I'm glad I did photography.
Pardon me.
Are you on my page there with the phone?
No, I didn't. I couldn't find that album, but I wanted to.
Yeah, it's down the ball. But anyway, I think
that's my two sons also as well.
I
have a cousin that DJ.
I got a couple more people I need to say something for. For the mayor of Easham County. Township. I keep saying county. Forgive me, guys. The Easham Township State Police, Kathleen Stein. Quite a few others that are trying to come into our fold. But I want everybody to know that I'm thinking about everybody. And to the friends and families of us all, we just want y'all to know, share your likes, share your comments, please subscribe, and trust you me, there is no topic that we won't touch.
And on another note, we want you also to know we love you. We're glad to have you along for the ride. We hope it gets exciting.
I love you, Daryl.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Yeah. And really, with the whole thing with the veterans, how that clicked immediately when we actually had our first meeting at Ponzio's over 2 months ago. And I'm glad it evolved into meeting that group and being part of that parade. So you don't know how when you first put something in.
Yeah, these is from East Shan Township. There I go. I was on the float part of the parade. There's me with the veterans.
And Roddy, how, just a little bit more of a background with you. I know you were at California East, you did that. Now, when did you go into the military, after all that? How soon? I know you were 14. When did you go into the military? Tell us a little bit about that background, about your military service.
It's so long. Well, so I'm going to share that at a later time.
Short to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Give us the full experience on the next one.
On the next podcast, I'll give you the full experience. And when I tell you my full experience, it's going to touch some emotions with a lot of people because it's war. So.
Okay. Any final words? And Daryl, when we're finally done, if you have that one queued up, because just for my homage to the end of that with California East, it shows credits. And but final words, Rodney.
No, I want to give Bill his final words before I say anything.
My final words. Well, listen, always be grateful because you never know what could have been, but you certainly know what is.
Yes, sir.
Daryl?
Yes, so final words. Thank you to everybody for making this connection and just proving to the world that, music unites everyone, no matter who you are, generates the love, generates the vibration. It's in your heart. And I think this is a great opportunity to, as I said, continue on, share some great memories, but also make some new memories together. So I look forward to working with you guys and anything I could do to help you to continue to use the power of technology to create your digital immortality. That's what I want to do here. Get the word out and really show to the knowledge.
Digital immortality.
Here we go.
And this is a dream come true for me. Just to be able to do this is wonderful. So,
you know what, Carl? Speaking of that, let me just say this real fast.
Sure.
I had a dream. I talked to you about this the other night.
Yes.
You had a dream. Oz had a dream. Bill had a dream. And apparently, Daryl had a dream. And this is the intersection of all those dreams.
Well, yes, how I mentioned it to Daryl that I was at my YouTube page and asked about that. So roll it, Daryl. This is the closing of the one show, but it's an instrumental, and I think it shows.
California East Dance Party has been brought to you by 7-Up, the drink that's crisp and clear with no caffeine, and by WPST 97.5 FM in Trenton. If you've got any questions or comments, or you'd like to be on California East Dance Party, write to Delgar Productions, Post Office Box 8171, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 08002, or call area code 609-662-5535. This has been a presentation of Delgar Productions, Incorporated.
For people who thought I was talking about it, there I am.
There you go.
We already knew that.
I know. Some people still don't believe you, you know?
But that's on them.
I know. I love having the instrumental part of it, too. Well, Daryl, if we could ever do a 40-year reunion for this next April, it would be kind of cool.
Absolutely.
In closing for me, if you guys can hear me out.
Go ahead.
My special shout outs goes to all my friends over in Germany, Korea, Guam, Alaska, And to some of my friends who's over in Poland, you know, I love you guys. I miss you guys. And I think of you guys a lot, especially the brothers here at Fort Lee, Fort Dix, and Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I want you guys to know that I think about all of you all the time, and all of you in every branch of service holds a very special place in my heart. And to my sisters, my family, my friends, all of my friends that's here, know that I love you and I will support you and do any and everything, I apologize, that I can possibly do to make sure this generational experience be a part of everybody's lives. And I thank you all, and I love you.
Well, on that note, stay tuned for episode 3. We don't know the topic yet, but it's going to be Pierre's background in detail. And
We're
some other
coming.
things in it. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Hit it.